Now, Paul, George, and Ringo recently sat down to talk about the success of the anthology series and the fact that, as the London Observer recently said, in 1996, the Beatles have accomplished what no other band has been able to do, become bigger than the Beatles.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? That's very nice, because everyone's always been looking to be bigger than the Beatles, and suddenly, with the anthology sales, we're the ones who are bigger than the Beatles.
I was glad we did it, and I thought it turned out well, and I was glad the way we did it.
I think Anthology 3 really strips bare the Beatles, and you hear the songs for what they are. I know George Martin, when we were listening to a lot of this stuff, he said, well, why did we ever feel we had to do them again? This sounds so good. The version of Long and Winding Road on Anthology 3 is the first take of it. So that's kind of interesting. And it doesn't have all the funny singing and violins and stuff on it, which I don't think I would have originally put on, because after we'd finished the original Let It Be album and it was mixed by Glyn Johns, it was very, funnily enough, it was an unplugged album. It was really what nowadays you'd refer to as sort of unplugged. It was very bare, very stripped back. You saw the Beatles naked, really. But I remember going home with Linda and sitting and listening to it, just thinking, wow, this is kind of dangerous. We're stripped bare. Boy, it sounds good. There's something very genuine about it. What I like about the album is you hear that we're still getting on with the work in a very good way. Because even though there was a lot of troubles going on, and even though there's kind of this inevitable split happening, just because we were kind of going our own directions, we're still able to laugh, like you say, through Rocky Raccoon. We're still able to just get hysterics. We're still not too worried, because you can hear it on, like, Dig a Pony. Me and John are really having a good time.
A lot of the other music on this album is stuff which was either from a rehearsal or just a mono kind of demo, or there was some of the demos that I'd made right after we came back from India. I had a 4-track machine in my house, and John and Paul came over, and so a number of those tracks are from that tape that I had.
And we're even stripping it away more in Anthology 3, and it still works. There's still, the soul comes through. There's, the Beatles had a lot of soul.
With the anthology, we're allowed now to say it. When you're in the Beatles, it would have just seemed just arrogant. Now, if you could talk about it as if it's another group.
I liked Polythene Pam because of its Liverpoolness. She's the kind of the girl that makes the news of the world. And you could say she was attractively built. Nobody writes kind of comic stuff, but that still has a certain seriousness about it. Like Polythene Pam was like a really good rock and roll song, really. But, I don't... It bothers me sometimes when something's so obviously funny and nobody laughs and nobody ever gets it.
Hi, I'm Amy Scott, and welcome back to the Beatles Today. Now, the Beatles Songbook is one of the most respected and well-known in pop. As demo tracks on the Anthology 3 show, any given tune by the band could go through several incarnations before achieving its final personality. Although many of the later Beatles tunes are elaborate studio efforts, most of their songs began very simply. Imagine hearing Paul sketch out the melody to Let It Be alone at the piano, or George make a tape of While My Guitar Gently Weeps with just a simple acoustic guitar accompaniment. Coming up, we're going to discover just what kind of process the band used to put together their hits and how ideas for songs could come from almost anywhere.
My mother was Mary Patricia Moen McCartney, and good Catholic girl from Ireland. Came over when she was 11. And she died when I was quite young still. And much later, when the Beatles were having success around about the time of Let It Be, we were all getting a little crazy. And I'd sort of gone to bed one night, well crazy. And I sort of had a dream. And she'd been in the dream, which is always lovely, and people who've been long gone come in dreams, because you actually meet them again. Even if it's just within the confines of your own head, still lovely. You're actually chatting to them. She's a big plus, And she was in the dream, and she sort of said, it'll be all right. She was very sort of calming, and he sort of woke up thinking, I feel better now, I feel better about things.
I went to Sardinia, and I knew Peter Sellers, and he had a boat. They said, somehow he knew I was going. use my boat, and which we did. And we went on with the kids, and we ordered fish and chips for lunch. And the captain and the cook and everyone, in the end, they gave us squid and chips. And we're from Liverpool. We said, well, what's that? That's this squid. I said, well, we don't eat squid. Have you got any fish? I ended up just hanging out with the captain, talking, and talking about, I don't know how you get into these conversations when you're that happy that they do. We were talking about octopus, and he actually was telling me that they build these gardens. You know, octopuses go around the seabed, find shiny things, nice stones, and they put them around. And I just thought, well, this is the happiest thing I've ever heard. And had my guitar with me. I played 3 chords, and that's how it happened. Don't pass me by, don't make me cry, don't make me blue. 'Cause you know, darling, I love only you. I did feel good about this song, and we did it. And, you know, I was really excited. You know, it's like we were talking about before. It was my first song, and it was really exciting, you know, to get it down. And everyone just worked, you know, everyone worked as hard on that song as they did on any other song we were doing. So it wasn't like, oh, well, this is Selena McCartney. Oh, this is one of yours. We give you 10 minutes. I mean, everybody worked to the full.
I read in one of the musical papers Pete Townsend saying, oh, we just made the dirtiest, filthiest rock and rollingest, loudest song ever. And just reading that kind of got me jealous. I was like, ooh.
Today, I'm Amy Scott. By the time of the White Album and Abbey Road, the Beatles were instantly recognizable the world over. Highly influential in both music and fashion, their every move was scrutinized by the press. Audiences wanted a Beatle update each week. Were they hanging around with the Maharishi? Were they taking LSD? Was Paul dead? Was Yoko in the band? From Hey Jude to the Ballad of John and Yoko to Let It Be, the band wrote about what was going on around them. Thanks for watching. We're going to leave you today with some of their thoughts about being a Beatle.
I feel blessed there was 4 of us and not lonely like Elvis. You know, because Elvis had nobody. And we had each other, and we could check each other out. And at certain points, we all went mad individually. You know, I remember my absolute being famous and going bonkers. And no one else would do anything, but the other 3 would say, excuse me? You know, it was, we had that, you know, we had people to hold on to and to hug when it got crazy. And people who loved you. I mean, I was an only child with 3 amazing brothers. And I don't know if families have that much love, but I felt truly loved at the time.
We were looking for an ending to an album. And in the end, To Love You Take, sequel to Love You Make, just came in to my head. And, you know, I just sort of recognized that, oh, that's a good end to an album. And it's kind of good little quote. It's a good little thing to say, you know. Now and for all time, I think. Yeah. I can't think of anything much better as a philosophy, because, you know, all you need is love. Still is what you need. There ain't nothing better. I don't think there ever will be. No. So, you know, I'm very proud to have been in the band that did that song and that thought those thoughts and that encouraged many people to think them, you know, helping through little troubles here and there. So, we've done good.